Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All depends basically the part of the world you're joining us from. I remember myself, Mazi, Chika, Austin, and we have few things to talk about. Then we are not going to spend. My programs always usually comes on weekend periods. That is weekend times. That is when my programs usually come. But because of little space I have, I felt it is pertinent. I seize this opportunity to, talk to us. Let us also just have a brief, not that big discussion as regards to, you know, issues at hand. And one of those things we're going to talk is the Biafran self-determination and people's mindset. Permit me, that mindset is supposed to have S, but nothing I can do. I can't edit it while the program is going on. So first of all, I believe I'm coming out loud and clear. I believe I'm being received audibly and visual-wise. So if that is what is obtainable from your own end, then we have to proceed. Okay, we want to talk about self-determination and, the mindset, the people's mindset. Self-determination and people's mindset. Well, for those of us who care to know, we are not the only people pursuing self-determination all over the world. We are not the only people on work. We are not going to be the last people as far as the earth remains. We are not going to be the last people. After us, people from other parts of the world will also pursue self-determination, because wherever there is oppression, self-determination or, pursuit for freedom becomes inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. Whenever people feel oppressed, excluded, the quest for self-determination or quest for freedom becomes inevitable. There's something I really want us, because each time we talk about, our people, sometimes we believe that we can tell the world how the world functions. Some of us have, ruptured ourselves mentally to a point that we believe that we must tell the world how the world should function, not knowing that certain system has been established. And if you don't do it, you can only create struggle for yourself. You can only struggle for yourself. You can only create lengthy delays for yourself. That is just how it is. For instance, a pilot that negates the weather prediction or weather warning from the control point and decide to airborne, that pilot will end up struggling on the sky, probably risk his life, because there is a standard that if the weather is like this, it is risky to airborne. There is a standard that if there is a cloudy status, a certain cloud weather conditions, that you must work in tandem with that standard. So if a pilot say, oh, never mind, or reputable standard that is going to airborne, he will end up finding himself struggling on air helplessly. And of course, if he's a black pilot, a pilot from Nigeria, he will tell you it is winches and wizard. Or eventually he will tell you he never knew what a bond him. Because black man is terribly wired. Some black men are terribly wired not to take responsibilities. They cannot take responsibility of the mess. A willful mess they made themselves. They would want to allocate it to a certain element, certain forces, seen and unseen. They can't take responsibility. And that's why black society, black continent is in shambles. Because it's only when people can take responsibility, it's only when people can say, oh, I didn't get it right. I am sorry. I have messed up. I have goofed here. That such a person will struggle internally to correct the wrongs he has done. But when people, brag in errors, brag in blunders, brag in mess, watch them. They're just going to be constituting more mess upon themselves. If you're the type you brag in errors, you can only because you want to protect a destructive steps you have made, you end up making more. Now, let me project something because every day, probably we have been saying this for quite a long time. We have been saying this thing quite a long time, but most of you, because probably it is coming from, your fellow black fellow, it might not really worthy to, meditate upon it, think upon it, and all the rest of them. But this is from Mike Arnold. As a matter of fact, Mike Arnold recently have been coming close to, there's this, most of you might not know, there's this soft competition by siblings of Mazi and Nnamdi Kanu. Each time a leadership makes a certain moves, they want to rush to the fellow as if we're in the business of, seeking for who does what. Whenever leadership is in a move for certain place, you see them running kitty, 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 kitty to do everything to, get the person around them. Recently, they ran to Mike Arnold, and as a matter of fact, the man came close to them. As usual, he saw a lot. He came close to them and discovered that they are just jokers. That they are just jokers. And nothing but jokers. He understands that everything they talk about they are doing for Biafra is just horse. Deceptive and lies. And this is what Mike Arnold said. Because, recently they were dragging him, Sokoto Declaration, blah, blah, blah. He came closer to them and discovered that, you see these guys, they have nothing to offer. They're just jokers. Nothing. And look at what he said. He said, I keep hearing the same plea. When will the United States or Britain recognize Biafra? Yes. He said, recently they ran into the man, they rushed into the man because they want to prove to the gullibles that the leadership is not working. They have this mentality that anytime they snap picture, near a white man, that it is a leverage for them to have boldness and ask for fundraising. So they ran to McArnold. Most of you never knew what happened. Mike Arnold was invited by IPOB USA on 30th May. They heard about it. They went and told Onyendu to talk to Aloy and all the rest of them to send a message to Mike Arnold. Let them do Sokoto declaration. Why? Just to make sure that Mike Arnold that was to speak to IPOB family in US doesn't do that. They went and said, Mike Arnold, the leader said he wants people to do a joint declaration. They know that the leader cannot have a joint declaration with somebody because he is restricted to usage of electronic gadget. But because they want to rubbish that 30th May, they want that 30th May to look as a disappointment, to be a failure. They want to mock that historic day. And Mike Arnold was to speak to IPOB in USA in order to rubbish the program of 30th May. They went and told Mike Arnold, and they say you and him want to do Sokoto declaration, joint declaration, which is impossible. Onyendu is restricted. But because they want to mess the program of leadership and Mike Arnold on 30th May in US, where the man was to speak to IPOB family in US, because they want to rubbish it. Aloy and the siblings started talking about Sokoto declaration. Where is the Sokoto declaration? Rubbish. Now, this man, they have did everything to get the man closer to them. And the man have seen them for whom they are. The man saw whom they are. Look at what the man said. He said, I keep hearing the same plea. When will the United States or Britain recognize Biafra? That he keep hearing it. When will they sanction? I projected that so you can read after me. He said, when will they sanction Tinubu? When will they free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? The honest answer. The man said, the honest answer from a man who has been inside the rooms where these decisions are made. They will not now, not without a fight. You have not yet started. He said, a honest answer. For 10 years, we have not yet started. It might pain you for what Mike Arnold said, but it's a reality which I'm going to explain to you. It is better you start afresh than living in illusion that you are going somewhere when in a true sense, you are going nowhere. It is better you start afresh than living in illusion that you are going somewhere when in a true sense, realistically speaking, you are not going anywhere. Rather, you're just wasting your time and buying time. Because the man said, honest answer, let me tell you people what he has come close to them and discover. No program. They have no program. The program they only have is Onyendu will come out tomorrow. Just to use it and keep you busy. Absolutely no program. And he said, the honest. Now, here is the truth. Listen. Based on deep knowledge of the system, I projected this so that you can read along. Just a minute. Let me get some off. Okay, sorry for that. I wanted enough brightness. Now, listen. This, you can read along. He said, here is the truth. Based on deep knowledge of system and historical record of every liberation movement in the modern world. Take note of two things. You can read along with me. He said, based on deep knowledge of system. What is system there? You can only have a system where there is an institution. And he's telling you based on a deep knowledge. He didn't tell you based on what the Holy Spirit told him. He didn't tell you based on prophecy, based on tangible and feasible statistical records. Based on institutional proofs. Based on institutional facts. You can fact check it. These are people who go by facts, not mere beliefs, not how you think it, not how you feel. These are people who go by what is practically obtainable. You can wish whatever you want to wish. After all, a wheelbarrow pusher wishes to be a billionaire. You don't understand? Now, he said, based on deep knowledge of system and historical record of every liberation movement in the modern world. Historical record, which means there are people who have done what we are doing. Some won, go and learn how they won. Some failed, go and learn the reason why they failed. You cannot come out and be an unknowing fellow. For you to survive, you must leverage on historical records. If you detest history, if you detest historical knowledge, definitely you will keep on making serial failures. Okay, he said he didn't tell you based on illusion, based on Ihagwaria, he's not speaking fact. He said no begging, no court filing, no friendly politician, and no lobbying campaign will gain you anything at all if there is not a global awakening behind it. If there is no global awakening behind it. Global awakening behind it. How can you talk about global awakening when you are not establishing an ideal presence in various countries? There's a difference between IPOB having presence, like we always brag, having presence in almost all countries, only to do monthly contribution. If you have a presence all over the country with the sole aim of collecting contributions, you're just running a cow meeting. But if you're having presence all over the world, convert your presence into active domestic, political, economic influences on your host country. That is when you are achieving what Arnold described as global, awakening. Because we always brag, we are scattered all over the world. That is good. But what is the quality of that scattering? We are not the only people scattered all over the world. Yorubas are also scattered all over the world. Are they making impact with that scattering? The answer is no. Until people begin to understand the relevancy of their global circulations, they will just be merely existing. Because Arnold says something. Until there's global awakening behind it. So if leadership is not saying, want to start a constructive and strategic positioning, we want to now maintain resident, permanent offices in all this country, because all these years, nothing like that ever happened. All these years, IPOB have been geographically wandering. They are more of wanderers. IPOB is more of a wandering organization. It has not settled down because you don't have a permanent office. What you have is more of center of collection. People do collections, then you get an order that somebody asks you to send it to Germany. After collecting global, should I say, offerings or remittance, then you drop it to one woman who does not even know anything. Then somebody who calls himself Kanu will decide how to spend their money. That is not global awakening. Could be said to be a global outlet centers. That is the best description of it. You don't have a strategic presence. You don't have a constructive presence. What you have is more of outlets or shops. Because you can only do global awakening when you have decided to settle. And you cannot settle without having a center of reach where people can reach you. That people can say, I have a problem, let me go to this office. And when you go there, it is actively functioning. That is when global awakening starts. Not the ones that have been going on. Listen, without that awakening, this is Mark telling you, he said, without that awakening, every dollar spent on advocacy and every hour spent on social media tagging members of the Congress is wasted. You can read. Without that awakening, without you settling down and start the real administrative engagement, dollars you're spending, rubbish. You know, there is this fraudulent design I have seen. There is this fraudulent design where people think that when you give them transport money and say, go to Washington, that is more active than when IPOB owns an office in DC. Do you know why some people prefer give them money later? Because as you're sending the message, you are providing. Ask them a question. Why would a movement that is a non-state actor yet choose flying in and leaving? Why a country that is already established always have a presence? Do you think countries are stupid? That countries will come in a host country, they will have a place called embassy where they are domicile. Do you think the countries are stupid? Countries are stupid to have a permanent place and start establishing ideal contact. Oh, you think they are stupid? Then you that is a non-state actor, your own, you believe when three people, probably Kanu, Feinberg, and one other person, wear suit, go to Washington, snap picture, and take the available flight and leave. You think your that masquerade display is that it is going to be effective than when you have a permanent address, as IPOB is currently doing it. She has done that in Italy. The leadership is opening a lot of permanent places because you must settle down to discuss. You must settle down to engage. A man that is on transit cannot engage effectively. Let's assume you're traveling to US and you join Ethiopia Airline, which means you're going to get to Addis Ababa. You get to Addis Ababa, you meet somebody at the airport. Remember, your discussion with that person will be brief. Why? Because you're on transit. In few hours to come, you'll be asked to board and continue your journey. You are on transit. Imagine you're living in Addis Ababa. You land to the airport, you met somebody, you can even tell, okay, please, can you follow me to my house, to my office to further this discussion? Because you are resident, you are permanent, you have a permanent presence. And that's why sometimes professionals, scholars, men with high velocity of acumen, we just look at some of things we do and they laugh. I think it is hard time we start transiting into ideal, engagement. It's for our own good. It's not for anybody. Because it is only when we're not engaging in active engagement, not the stupid things some people will do. You give a congressman, for instance, you give one congressman money. It's a lobby. Congressmen, one of the ways they get money in US is lobby. Lobby companies meet them. Individual meet them and say, please, can you do this? Oh, somebody, you package, maybe let me say $50,000 or $30,000, give a congressman, and he writes a proposal to read in the house. After reading it, you start shouting, oh, US government have ordered Nigeria to free Biafra. You lack knowledge. You are naive. You fail to understand how the country. What the congressman did to you is process at which he gets money. Every congressman or congresswoman in the Capitol Hill is exposed for lobbying. It's open for lobbying. Apart from the money US government pay them, another way they make money is through lobbying. That's why if you come to Capitol Hill, you have over 100,000 lobby firms actively asking for you to give me $100,000, give me $200,000. Let me present your matter on the floor. That's what they do. Presenting it on the floor does not reflect to executive decision, because it is the decision of the executive arm of the government of the United States that reflects the US foreign policy. What I'm discussing, we don't understand it. Some of these people, they will not understand what we're talking about. Yes, it is the decision of the executive arm of the US that reflects US foreign policy position. The Congress can give you, the decision of the Congress can give you what we call voice recognition. I'm telling you. But when it comes active engagement, you have to target the US executive, just like any other country. And tell me how you do that. When 3 person wear suit, go there and snap picture. We are doing diplomatic engagement. You can see us. We're in Capitol Hill. One Congress will speak about us. The Congress has been paid. He has to speak. There's a source of revenue for them. Now, this is what the man said. He said, without that awakening, every dollar spent on advocacy and every hour spent on social media tagging members of Congress is a wasted. Some people want us to be wasting money because through that means they defraud the movement. And this is it is a grave concern. Where is Bruce Friend today? Because we are so, I don't know how we think. We are so crazy over white skin. When Bruce Friend was here, members of the leadership said that nothing, you cannot be telling us to be paying this man. There's nothing we see happening. Bruce Friend, a lawyer. Every time a lawyer and the Bruce Friend. Where is Bruce Friend? Mike Arnold is even better than Bruce Friend because Mike Arnold is being open. At least he has some level of hatred in Nigerian system. So whether you reach out to him or not, he has a resentment against the Nigerian system. Where is Bruce Friend today? They use, this money is for Bruce Friend. Use Bruce Friend, and squandered a whole lot of money. And the leadership was warning, all this thing you're doing with you, Bruce Friend. But at a time, they were accusing a Joffo that it was a Joffo that refused Bruce Friend to have access inside law court. As if Bruce Friend is a lawyer that practices. When you study overseas, you need to go to Nigerian law school to have the right to practice in Nigeria. But because they know how ignorant most of us are, they will tell, hey, Bruce Friend, our American government is under Bruce Friend, the lawyer. Bruce Friend tomorrow. And these guys knew that a foreigner or a foreign lawyer cannot practice in Nigeria without going to Nigerian law school. But they want to keep deceiving themselves and they are tired. And Bruce Friend has gone. And Hango Maikano, who was doing his own thing altogether, they are now running kitty. And Maikano is saying that he have come close. He have seen that nothing is coming out. Classless. Onwero. Yes. And he said, this is not defeatism. This is realism. Each time we say face reality, most of you will say, no, we don't want to face reality, we want to face illusion. Illusion will keep on flogging you. He said, this is realism. The work matters. The work matters. But it only matters when the foundation underneath exists. This my canon also, the work matters, but it can only matter when the foundation underneath exists. When the institution is the foundation of every journey. This is my canon. They were rushing. I appreciate the fact that he's sincere to us, to the Biafran people. I thank God for being sincere. I thank God for him not being disposed to allow, play into the gallery of, let's say, picture with Tony Ocha. Let's say that this is not defeatism. This is realism. The work matters, but it matters only when the foundation underneath exists. It matters only when the institution, that is the foundation of every nation, is the strength of her institution. Nigeria is collapsed today because Nigeria has a volatile institution. IPOB is where it is today because the leader himself made the institution to be weak. Yes, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made the institution to be weak. Because if not, I don't see reason why his brother Kanu before was controlling the fund of an institution, decide whom to allocate fund to and who not to. I don't see the reason why his itinerary where he went to and not, the institution was not aware. I don't see the reason why when the institution got him winning at that appeal, his family came with Kanu's family and took over. And let me tell us something. The danger of encouraging weak institution is this. When you destroy institution, you are not just making the institution or the project vulnerable. You are also keeping yourself vulnerable. The Nigerian politicians, they all weakened the Nigerian institution, thinking because they wanted to do it, because they wanted to, what they will gain within that time. They weakened the police system, turned the police to elite police, not community police. Police was more of who protests Oga, not the community. And they were enjoying it. This thing started as far back as late 90s. They were busy weakening the judiciary. Today, can any of them come to their village in North? None of them. The same people who weakened the institution, their communities, their land is not chasing them. Don't live a life that, because it favors you that time. It shouldn't be because it favors you, let me do it. When you know it is wrong. All of them that destroyed the Nigerian institution, they are also suffering it today. Is everything not collapsing before everybody? Today, in Kogi, they have kidnapped some kids. Nobody is sleeping without being conscious. Even in Abuja. That is why you should not be part of those who weaken an institution. Even when the weakening of that institution favors you, reject it. Because strong institution protects everyone. Strong institution protects everyone, including you, who is a leader. But when out of egocentrism, out of corruption, you decide to weaken an institution, you too will suffer it. Just the way the generality of the public will suffer it, you too will suffer it. Because, tell me, if not efforts of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to weaken IPOB, tell me why his brothers will pay money to Showore and his hirelings to come and protest in Aba for a man that millions of Biafrans were protesting for him all over the world freely. Because they felt that is the consequences of fighting an institution you're supposed to back. By the time they ended in helping in polarizing, sowing seed of discord, sowing distrust, sowing blackmails, it got to a point that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be protested for in Aba. One of the core places we know, people love him. They have to hire foreigners. It was the Yorubas they hired to come and do it. Why? The consequences of working to destroy an institution. When you do it, it can only give you a temporary relief. Just for instance, if not that these present members of the leadership have stood on their ground. Let's assume they succeeded in destroying IPOB because they tried to do it by supporting heavily autopilots. They did it. They did it heavily. Do you know that there are some of our brothers all over the world that are surviving through the asylum coverage, aided, assistant to them to gain by IPOB? What will be their fate? Do you know that because the presence of IPOB and ESN, people who want to invade our land are very careful? So when you weaken the institution, will you not be there to suffer it? Because when we talk, parochialism, narrow-mindedness, corruption of the heart, what it does is that it is an enabler of self-destruction. Corruption will make you to destroy yourself, thinking you're destroying another. You will undermine yourself, thinking you're undermining others. You will so much ambush yourself, thinking you're ambushing others. And that was why I would say, whatever you're doing, do not undermine. Do not undermine the institution of IPOB. It is for our collective well-being. When we are telling it to Nnamdi, he felt, no, let me do it. Let me do it. As far back as 2022, this is a communication between our lawyer and Simon, which was to undermine the institution. No lawyer have spoken respectfully to the leadership of this struggle. And that's why I can't have respect for any of them. That is me. Until they retract the useless public comments they have made against the institution of this movement, I will never respect any of them. I will malign them. I will insult them. I will so much degrade them in every given opportunity until they start retracting their useless statements, which is in public domain, against the leadership of this movement. I will so much undermine them. I will malign them. I will disrespect them. I will trample on them until they understand the importance of respecting the institution of this movement. This is where this useless man was speaking as far back as 2022, working to undermine the heartbeat of this movement, forgetting that already Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a captured person. The state has captured him. He's limited by the act of being captured. That is realism. I cannot use that word. He has been captured. That is what it is. And people believe that because Mazi Nnamdi is captured, the movement should also be captured. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is, restricted, the movement should be restricted. And it can never happen. It cannot. It cannot. And that's why somebody could boldly make this statement. And this is one of the core reasons why I came this very moment to talk before I open my line for people to call in. Do you know an idiot? One idiot made this statement. One idiot. Supposedly, they said he's a lawyer. One Ikechukwu, Onwa in South Africa. They say he's a lawyer. And that's why I tell us, let us stop this idea of overrating people. Because this guy was overrated. I don't see any iota of education in him. Because by the virtue of this submission, he's not only stupid, he's naive. I must tell you that. I must tell you that. I'm about opening the line. Just give me a few minutes. People can now come in. So, what am I trying to say? Look at this post. But this is the last thing I will discuss. Then I open the line. Now, an idiot and that dot, supposedly educated buffoon, say, let me educate you. You know, when they come with this phrase, let me educate you, you think they even understand, you think they have a content to unveil, not knowing that they have absolutely nothing in their hands. They say, IPOB is a brand which begins and ends with its creator, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Know this and have peace. Says a brand. It's a brand. And I wonder if this guy understands what a brand is. If he actually understands what a brand is. You cannot use the word brand to a movement. A movement has, when you talk about brand, you talk about service provision entities or goods providing entities. Coca-Cola is a brand. Fanta is a brand. Peugeot is a brand. Mazi is a brand. Volkswagen is a brand. Telecommunications, they are all brands. You can't call ANC brand. He's in South Africa, but he's an empty skull. And do you know why? When he said this, some people even buy into that. That is how horrible. Mentally deluded some of us are. You cannot call Palestinian movement a brand. You cannot call Western Sahara Arab brand. You cannot call Somaliland movement brand. You cannot call Scottish movement brand. You cannot call the Kurdish movement brand. They are not brand. They are ideology projecting entities. So it is IPOB. When you call something a brand, what it means is it can be decommissioned. If I'm selling a wristwatch, if I have my company where I produce wristwatch as a brand, I can shut it down tomorrow. That is what happens in cases of brand. There are some brands, you know, they are no longer in the market. There are some service providing brands, you know, they are no longer providing that service. That is one thing with the brand. A movement, you cannot shut it down. You cannot wake up and say, I want to shut down. Because this is the mentalities these morons have. The Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can give fatwa, can just give declaration. Everybody go home, shut down and go home, and it will be absolute. That is arrant nonsense. If you think like that, you don't. And when it comes to brand, the founder or the CEO of that brand funds it by himself. He's the one that funds his production process into finished product and sells to the public. In ideology movement, even the founder does not fund it because ideology is attractive to people who have compatibility in ideology, similarity in ideology, who have tandem in ideology. And brand is the CEO that funds it. Ideology, people who are compatible with that ideology fund it. That's why IPOB is not funded by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Know this and have peace. It is the people that push their resources, push their time, including me, at the prime time of my age. I dedicated, just like everyone of us, dedicated their strength to support the ideology for the restoration of Biafra. Because we believe it's a people's movement. So when a minion comes and start talking, and the same fool, when you ask him and say, are you a freedom fighter? He will say he's a freedom fighter. And he does not know that anybody working for a brand has nothing to do with freedom fighting. He's a vendor. That's how they contradict themselves. You cannot say you are doing freedom fighting for brand. No. You can only be a vendor to a brand. And I to an extent, I saw sense in them because obviously they have this buying and selling mentality because they see everything we are doing as a brand. So they are vendors. They are more vendors. They are more vendors. They are not freedom fighters. One selling Coca-Cola products, Coca-Cola brand, is a Coca-Cola vendor. So he has the right to plus or minus. He has the right to seek for profit or profiteering, which is on the negative side, as far as business world is concerned. He can either make profit or profiteering. So if these guys see what we're doing as a brand, that they are vendors, you cannot see the reason why somebody like Foolish Darlington will be giving money for humanitarian purpose to a woman and he will convert the money to himself because he's a vendor. He sees himself as a vendor. He sees himself as someone who is trading. You see the reason why somebody will say, because your mother said this, I will not continue paying your school fees, as being meted on the son of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because it is a vendor's mindset. A vendor can withdraw service or goods. He can also, because they have a vendor mentality, the mentality of a vendor. Do you know, in a horrible society like Nigeria, a vendor will quickly call a Akurako product, same appearance, but the contents are not the same. And just what we are seeing today, exactly what we are seeing today, where they will tell you, the lawyer will tell you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is working with Simon Ekpa, people who cause mayhem in the land. And the same people will come back and say, oh, we are not working with Simon Ekpa. They are not consistent. No iota of truth. That is the mindset of a vendor. That is the mentality of a vendor. Now, he said, IPOB is a brand which begins and ends with its creator, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If IPOB is a brand to you, which means he begins at what you are not telling us that, because all over the world, when a CEO of a brand runs into a problem, the company, there's every tendency that that company will experience what we call bankruptcy. Let me give you instance. Chelsea, the former CEO of Chelsea was, I think, Abraham Movic, something like that, from Russia. Immediately, the Russia-Ukraine war broke out. The man had a problem with his brand, Chelsea. The British government nationalized Chelsea. What happened? Chelsea started having a problem because the creator of that brand is having a problem. But ideological movement, even though the founder has a problem, it continues. ANC, Mandela had a problem, it continued. Arafat in Palestine had a problem to a point that he died. The Palestinian cause is still going. The leader of Catalonia is in exile. He is in exile. I think in Belgium, the movement is going because they are not running brand. They are running ideological movement. Do you know the former leaders of Somaliland? Some of them were killed. Some of them ran into exile. Somaliland is still championing the cause. What of the Kurdish people? Their earlier leaders were killed by Saddam Hussein. Kurdish has internal sovereignty today. They are still pushing. Are you talking about, let me mention, the Western Sahara Arabs? Their leaders were thrown into jail by Moroccan government. The Western Sahara Arab is still moving, pushing. These are people who are running an ideological movement, not a brand. So in a brand, Ibeto had problem. Ibeto was a brand. Ibeto had a political winch hunt against him by Obasanjo regime. What happened to the product? Are you seeing Ibeto product in the market? That is a case of a brand. It is different from ideology. Whenever a CEO of a brand runs into problem, that brand faces duress. That is why even in a brand, there is a time a brand gets to level. That brand will go into what we call public. The owner, the CEO of that brand, in order to survive future, in order to last generation upon generation, the CEO of that brand will go public. That is going to enlist in what we call public stock. When that brand enlists in public stock, people will now come and buy share. If the CEO is controlling 100%, he will say, okay, let me control 20%. Let the public buy 80%. It becomes a public entity. It's no longer. These are brand. Even the CEO can go public, sell shares, so that it will become a public interest. So that even though the CEO dies, gets incapacitated, runs into a problem, unforeseen problem, because the fears of men on earth is unpredictable, then the public interest will preserve the brand. Oh, Chineke, man, I wish our people can understand basic. And that is why they are called shareholders. I'm telling you, a brand. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you. These are elementary knowledge. You must not approach this knowledge because you hate Chika Austin. I'm giving you for free. Even though you hate me, what you do, turn your phone or whatever gadget you're using to watch me, turn it upside down, listen to the voice. Don't look at me. Because looking at me will aggravate your anger. We boost your hatred. Just turn it, face it down so that you don't see my image, but listen to the word. It's for your own good so that you don't go to public and start, when you talk, people know that one idiot is talking. No coherency. When you talk, people know that you will poorly represent the Biafran struggle. For this boy to write this, that shows you how deluded and empty he is. Just like somebody coming, I wrote something, somebody coming and tell people who are controlling the Radio Biafra, Biafran TV, the ESN, the coordinative strength of IPOB, we are calling them S. Because somebody used the word. And this is the age of search engines. There are a lot of search engines on your phone. Instead of you to open Google, open AI search engine and say, what does S mean? You open your mouth, you say SDOS. Are you stupid? Don't you know that the prefix S is for something that is no longer in control? But because hey, has S, you cannot use your Google. You cannot use your search, your AI. You keep on disgracing yourself, talking what you don't know. SDOS. Without you knowing that it is those who do not have control of those assets of the movement that you call S. When a police officer is S, he cannot have access to the police rifle. He cannot wear this police uniform. He cannot even have, he cannot be a recipient to police salary, monthly salary. He's not S police officer. He's not S police officer. Because when you people talk all these things, it shames me. It poorly represents who we are. It depicts the picture that all of us are morons. All of us are so daft to understand elementary prefix in English language. It's terrible. And you see them speaking SDOS, SDOS. But they are still speaking on the asset of the movement. They are still controlling the asset. But because you have somebody use the word, you start using. God have mercy on us. So he said, which begins and ends with the creator. These are some of these things. You know, when people talk like this, that shows you the level of knowledge they have. And that's why everyone should try as much as possible to make sure that. Now, let me say this. I understand that Onyendu desires freedom. He deserves freedom. Where he is today is not the making of anybody. He wishfully walked into that as a result of relying on morons to advise him. You know, before he was, captured, Aloy was promoting internationally protected person, that slogan. You know that? He was promoting internationally protected person slogan. And when Onyendu was picked up, he moved from internationally, it was internationally protected person he used to brainwash Mazi Nnamdi, telling him that anywhere he is, he's enjoying international status of international. You see, when people who are educated but illiterate, you give your ear to them, they will drag into mess. They will drag into mess. He was shouting, Nnamdi is an international. Does he understand how that status work? He doesn't. But he was speaking that grammar, and so people bought into that, including Onyendu, was deceived to believe into that nonsense. And when he ran into problem, the next language is that Mazi Nnamdi is technically in Kenya. Technically, and most of you were, I love the members of the DOS. Are they speaking? They kept quiet for you to wallow in your ignorance. I'm telling you that he's technically in Kenya. When he find himself in Sokoto, they moved from technical in Kenya to Sokoto Declaration. And some of these idiots who just open their dead mind. So that is what it is. At this moment, we are going to open our lines. and get the comments. Mazi, you are live now. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mazi, I want to get into the car because of the noise. Mazi, thank you so much for this wonderful analysis this hot afternoon. Because this is hot afternoon. And I want to just chip in something. If it is one of my comments there, you will say chip in something very, very important. Also, my brother, you know, when you are analyzing things here, telling our people the importance of these things that is happening. I wrote something yesterday about oath, and you can see the reaction and the attack of our people. Because what they know as we are analyzing these things now, talking about the leadership, and they cannot be part and parcel of anybody that want to bring the institution down. But people will not understand because what they one person, one individual, which is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, forgetting that what we are fighting is a nation, not for individual. Yes, do we love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Regardless, yes. Do we want him out as an Igbo man, as a Biafra man, as whatever he has done? Yes. Even if they keep a whole post of him there, once his Fulani is holding him, we want him out. When he come out, we'll get our differences. But let them not forget that the same Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that he loves criticism. If you want, some of them want the leadership to come and talk. If they still tell you, will say, why are you bringing the information? Keep it. Why are you so? As you are analyzing this now, they will not focus on all these things you are saying. What they are focusing now is where Mazi Chika insulted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the only thing you will see. Yeah, that is the only thing, my brother. That is the only thing you will see them. They will just pick only that one to analyze you tomorrow. But you bringing everything down, table by table, they will not understand it. The only one they will get is where you say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu do not do it well. Are we building this struggle? I'm asking every day, are we building a nation where you cannot criticize anybody as we are criticizing P2B, all of them are politicians today? Are we ready to build that kind of government again? To be a second citizen in our country, all of us fought as a Biafrans to get. You become a second citizen where you cannot call somebody's name. Anytime you call it, you go down. I'm asking Biafrans today to rethink and see whether, instead of that, Mazi Chika, it's better for us to remain in Nigeria, continue answering second citizen of Nigeria, than for us to fight all these things and get to Biafra and still be answering second citizen on the family agenda. Mazi, nobody have hated Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What we are criticizing is the agenda of what you have occurred today. If not these things that happen, we couldn't have known many things. Not only Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not under oath, even Nnamdi, fine boy, Kalonta. Let them come and tell us who gave them oath. Because they said, the one that come to take us and analyze us and say, we need to scrutinize everything now. We need to ask questions. And when we come out to ask these questions, you see hatred and reaction and the wickedness. And you want to get a better Biafra. I have said it time without number, Mazi Chika. Your analysis this afternoon, I think our brother Fearless Evangelist just entered this life, and I saw him now, which I think is not aware that you are alive, which is what our people complained yesterday. I think I have sent messages all around all of you that anybody that is coming on air must monitor each other. Once you're air, the other person must wait until after your analysis you can go. After you have analyzed, that thing can come up next time. But I will see, let him know. Maybe he did not get my message properly. So, Mazi, I really want to appreciate you for this wonderful analysis this afternoon. Chika, I can see you are the only person in Biafra land who have never given us problem. Who knows the right thing to do? I don't know who Maka, maybe school in Kigano, So whatever you are doing it properly and you stand the truth regardless of whatever that is happening today. Mazi, we must stand in the truth. We didn't hurt anybody. We don't hate anybody. We don't mean that if Biafra come, we are going to kill all of them. No. All of them are still Biafras. And without them, we are not nation. We are not going to answer a nation. We need popularity. We need popular people. We need people to answer that country called Biafra. So, Mazi, you see, watching it. I really want.
Ndewo Mazi. Ahụkwara Mazi Biafran child. Mazi Biafran child. Ndewo. Okay, we get the second caller here. Very, very important. Very, very important. Now, there are things some of our people say, it's so irritating. Nobody hates anybody. The truth remains that Anejihene Adara Nwenwenelu. Ndelo Mazi Peter Widia.
Yeah, I'm there, Mazi Chika, Austin, watching thank you so much. You talk about a lot of things. And before I go, I want to appreciate you. Your analysis, your age tapent and kill. Because when you are doing the analysis on Abba, also good to know what. Okay, I get your analysis on Abba. Maz, you talk about Mark Arnold. We know that the time will come, they will tell you that this very Mark Arnold, I think, no IPOB leadership area. Because if on a dinner, for example, you will believe that it's not going to be going down well with the siblings of Maz and Nnamdi.
Yes, tomorrow I got to know that the leadership have to these guys are horrible. How is you?
Yes, now but I say spy. Now but I say spy man. And then I got an order to know the man at Choputago. Exactly our mother Lolo Nekachimeze Choputara. Their criminality empire. So Mazi Chika, I don't have much to say. I just want to cheapen this very one that a time will come. They will also label that DOS brought Mark Arnold to become a spy. That they know that is the reason they refuse to work with Mark Arnold. But during Sokoto declaration, you can see that they promoted the man. So they are very good in promoting people. But once the people discover their criminality and disappear from their midst and face the truth, stand with the truth, they will turn around and label it that is a DOS agent that DOS paid him to come. So, Mazi, that is it. They were watching it. Thank you very much, Mazi.
The reason why, okay, the line is still open for all of us. The reason why we do what we do is to preserve. When you talk of IPOB is all-encompassing. Is really, all-encompassing. Watching few fellows to, mesmerize a noble cause is a shame to all of us. It's a shame to all of us. I always say it. So why we do what we do is because we will not allow a movement that the people so much believed. I would have been a dead man. I was in Afaruku Ibeku on the day Python dance attack. I was at the apartment of Kanunta's side. By now I would have been a forgotten person. I was not in Afaruku Ibeku that day to defend a brand. I would be the most foolish person to do that. I was in Afaruku Ibeku that day and other states I thought while Onyendu was touring. I was not doing all those things because for the sake of brand. If you tell me I'm doing that for the sake of brand, I can't pardon you for that. I must tell you, it's unpardonable. Because that day, I would have been a dead man. By now, I would have Probably. Ndewo, are you here?
Okay.
Good evening.
Mazi, good afternoon.
Ndewo, good evening from here.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Mazi. I'm calling from the Suriname.
You're highly
Thank you very
welcome.
much, Mazi, for that. Yeah, I'm just coming late, but I saw you online. I saw let me hang in and listen to your analysis. Mazi, thank you very much. You see this Biafra movement. Sometimes when these people behave, I begin to imagine some certain things. I know how far 2015 when we started this thing. I lost so many comrades in Port Harcourt. I joined Gumu Christi Unit 1, 2015. That was when I joined this movement. Do you understand?
Mm.
And ever since then, I've been part of this movement since I traveled out of Nigeria to where I am today. Do you understand?
Mm.
I know how much I've contributed to this movement. Then one person will just come out and say IPOB is a brand. You know? That IPOB is a even when I was listening to Ejimako when he was interviewed by the journalist, he said Ejimako was contradicting himself. You are seeing IPOB as an organization that mechanical at points constitute do anyhow he wants. At the same time, saying that IPOB is a freedom fighting movement. Is this man a lawyer? Is this man a lawyer? Do you understand?
So terrible. So terrible.
Is this man a lawyer? Okay, now you are presenting IPOB as a brand. Do you know this thing in this western part of the world? They can sue Nnamdi Kanu because this is under criminal this thing. Oh, do you understand? They can sue you because you'll be scamming people for so many years.
And besides, you know one thing, most of these guys, like the one they said is a lawyer that posted it, he doesn't know that when you're a freedom movement, you are exempted from paying taxes.
Yes.
But when you're running a brand, in every country you find yourself, you must make a presence as either a goods or service providing, and you must pay your taxes.
Of course, yes.
So let them keep on roping him locally and internationally. Tomorrow, when one country put up litigation against him, they will start shouting. The Nigerians has gone and lobby. They are busy roping.
These people, these people don't know the implication of this word they are using to describe IPOB. I am telling you, they don't know the consequences of this thing they are using.
They are daft.
How can you be calling a global movement, freedom fighting organization, a brand? If somebody will come tomorrow and sue you, if somebody will come tomorrow and sue Nnamdi Kanu, he's going to face a lifetime imprisonment in the jail. I'm telling you.
It's all right. Mazi, thanks so that we can also get others' opinion. I really appreciate.
Mazi, thank you. Mazi, because the leadership to help us here. So let's know if we can start up another family.
Yes, last time you said about this, and I've communicated to them. They will definitely reach to you. No.
Okay.
Okay. One thing people do not understand is the importance of counting your words before you say it. You might end up running into problem and find who to blame. Yes. Hello, Mazi, are you there? Hello? Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
This is Mazi. I'm a Biafran child. I want to add my voice to this your broadcasting. Of course, we must support each other. It's very, very important we add our voice. We let people understand what is going on. Because if we keep silent, some people may be thinking that all these things that Nnamdi Kanu is displaying. Sometimes people will be asking you, Did you hide it from Nnamdi? And they have forgotten that Allah Ijma'al is a lead counsel. It's the mouthpiece of Nnamdi. I don't know how people want Nnamdi to come out from the prison and begin to speak. But this thing that Nnamdi is doing today by telling us that IPOB is a brand and its own brand, Nnamdi have turned indigenous people of Biafra his own. Nnamdi is telling us that Biafra belongs to him. And when we are saying this, all these foreigners, the way Nnamdi structured this Biafra restoration project is a family business. Some people don't understand. And some people are finding it so difficult. Why are we speaking now? They don't even understand that we trust this man. We thought that Nnamdi that everything that he stated, that he had been saying on Radio Biafra, we are through. Now we understand that everything we are fallacy. Nnamdi present on what in your match. Nnamdi also. I have said this thing without number. If I knew that this struggle were based on Nnamdi he's seeing this struggle as his family business, as his own, I will be the last person to join Nnamdi and I will come out every single day, begin to counter him. I have said things to people. And some people think that we are going to be, some people are still believing that Nnamdi is getting it right. Just imagine a man who is mouthpiece in public domain telling us that IPOB is a company. I just, sometimes I ask myself, does it mean that these people, even though Nnamdi is supposed to be one of that star elite they're talking about, I'm telling you this, if he has this mentality, if he still have this mind over 15 years that we have been running this struggle, and he come out today and begin to tell us that IPOB belongs to him. Can I ask some people, can a tree make a forest? Does it mean that people don't know that without people, Nnamdi can never find himself in this level he is today? And he turn around and begin to laugh at us. And I know his also begin to use its job to compare IPOB movement. That Nnamdi can sack him. That Nnamdi single-handedly constitute single-handedly, create IPOB and put people in position.
Mazi, General, do you know IPOB must be the biggest company on earth that the CEO employed over 3 million people and is paying them by the virtue of being that can hire you and fire. Do you understand me? It must be the biggest company on earth where the CEO is. Today, go ahead.
Where the employees are now paying CEO. Where the employees are now paying CEO. And in that company, the CEO is producing nothing. The CEO cannot even produce toothpick, common toothpick. It's not producing anything. And the man is busy collecting regular salary of £10,000. This is a regular one, not the one that the economy. We are talking about normal one that is collecting. And then now they cannot look at us and begin to see us as nobody. Mazi, sometimes when every time I keep on listening to that nonsense and injustice that a lot is on display on social media, which is coming direct from Nnamdi. That is, I want people to understand this. All these things is coming direct from Nnamdi.
Exactly.
And that's why I keep on saying that Nnamdi is now as leader of IPOB. And I want our people to continue on this campaign. from now to 3 months, Google will change it by themselves. Wikipedia will change it. Ex-leader. Because Nnamdi Kanu don't deserve, with his mentality that is displaying today, Nnamdi Kanu don't have that capability or capacity to lead a group. Believe you, he don't have it. Forget all these English annals. Forget that Nnamdi Kanu he went to school, he knows this, he knows that. All the time that he's supposed to act, the man turned around, begin to see us as nobody. Okay, Mazi, Chika, I also agree on what you said. The brand of IPOB is owned by Nnamdi Kanu. The ball starts for him and ends on him. Let Nnamdi Kanu rest. But we are telling him that IPOB is an institution. The way it was before, things have changed. And the reason why Nnamdi Kanu is around today is because he knows that the game is already changed. Nnamdi Kanu knows that even though if he comes today and plead, our money must be out. And we are still pursuing that case here in Germany. Those people that will leave our money here in Germany, those people that have stolen our money here in Germany, those people that have extorted our money here in Germany, they must pay dearly. And then Nnamdi Kanu escape that because he is not the one that put in the money. That is why Nnamdi Kanu, so-called kidnapped. Since the day that thing happened, he began to move our money.
There were.
From America to Italy, from Italy to Germany, from Germany to South Africa. Mazi, thank you very much for giving me this time.
There were,
we must continue.
I also want to appreciate you for your good work. You are really an active fellow. I enjoy your program as well. Thanks, Mazi, and have a best of the day.
Thank you, Mazi.
Okay, we have another caller from here, so let us also. Okay, we have other caller. Let us. Okay, Mazi, are you there?
Hello, Mazi.
Ndewo.
Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, live and direct.
Ndewo, watching echo. I'm late, but I just want to use the opportunity to thank you for your analysis and the way you try to enlighten our people, because a lot of people don't understand what is going on. But most the thing is sinking it now. I quite honor that na asana gonyibi afane ete. Any name our people should know that everything is pre-planned. It is not a mistake. Because let's assume no a mistake that our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it was our leader, no. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, na pare IPOB and DOS without his knowledge. Maybe born on a DSS or no incommunicado. Then ya potassium now. No's in a prison now na Sokoto where people are visiting him. So my mother and her I know the or na honkozo. You understand? At least me asila oh I want him no mbamba una galafa achomia like this. He has never ever made any serious comment against what is going on. One our sister got to visit joy do face to face, we are everything face to face. Instead of him to say sorry or admit that something went wrong, yet you get 5. That is to tell you that everything that is happening, I have planned. He's the master planner, and that is why audacity to insult everybody, even the lawyer. This Ochens Oboga lawyer, name Chambers, call actually my video for that na Zokola market.
Na roundabout Kilishi market. Or tuwo shinkafa me akuka market.
Ebe fula de no abuya camera. No chamber, no address. Abana korobish. Imade this thing home and only lanya that na DOS They cannot manipulate them. How just they go sink everything so that God in charge now manipulate on you. But position all these men. How we are carry some back again. And the Iman our leader when they kick on when the IPOB. Iman people ama. Because when you think about it, now all this while also our leader, he just a ceremonial president like Chika. Chika is actually the leader of IPOB and the US. Because every Hembagi will pure, just think about it. Every memo that comes from IPOB, even when our leader was here, after they adopted him, it still comes from that office, Directorate of State. They sign memo, they decide everything. He doesn't decide anything. So the most powerful man now say that seat, Chika's here. So we don't even, he's absent itself, we are not even feeling it. He's absent, we are not feeling it. Instead, he watch anytime on around, non a microphone, make noise, no diplomatic engagement, no headway. But anytime all a problem. Governor DOS always go far in diplomatic engagement, making headway in what we are doing, solidifying everything. So now Opola now Chineke mene bere no Opola, which I know that today or better.
Man, look at me so
Opola Apo mo san. Ofola, wa akrepo frana, ofroni ana ne. Yaslam na ne nyahiyana. Ojila ki akofo nwe na okọ. Aga ko ne ko ya na okọ again. Anwe ka ko ya na okọ again. Ojila ki akofo nwe na okọ. E makwa homere kanko. Hey na family em eleba na agbu yokwa agbu. Eledi onu na anya igiji fota tomorrow na ya fota na ya bia fota na nye speaker. Ya fota na radio. The same radio. Also money TZ radio, Biafra radio. I condemn. I'll give a bit tomorrow. More for that. Because very soon now, mark here today's day. Today, I'm on 10th. Today, 10th. Very soon. I will also go to Haja. I'm a one. It is in a prison. University Karaho again. I give strange condition again because. The federal government that IPOB is unstoppable. These people couldn't do anything. IPOB is still standing. I got him and I see this bunch of fool every time I let disturb by how many kids once in a week or once in a month to come and see him. You will see it very soon. It will not be business as usual because these people they may not like this area fan autonomous. Who do nigari faith in our leader. A man now all home actually came in Chileke men and I woman at this struggle. Shift to in a family one corner, kind hoso. Me akwa one than nekose about touch and hoso. I na hoso not clear. You baggage yoko. Only a preach a week years people up. Disseminated the information. I help when I just offers the only I will let's move ahead. So actually boon in the media our coordinators and everybody DOS. When you allow Bawambo na position ono, unu kwechere. Ahead, as of la break, unu kwechere, I know on the right track. All I do is I am his Shinoka, she said, whoop and Atlantic Ocean, I whoop. Because all them who Fulani hatred, Mana had them. All them who Britain hatred, Mana had them. All the way who the siblings of Kanu and his brothers hatred, Mana had them.
Ndewo Mazi. Ijile asụsụ ụlọ tapịa lehweke nọ tajasatacha ya.
Weko ọfọm bisekwana.
Ngwani jishike mune. Ndewo, I go back to I go back to Mazi Patrick. He came. We're having a lot of callers. Ndewo Mazi, are you there?
I'm here. Good evening. Thank you, my brother.
Adamma, Ndewo.
Okay, yeah, I just the last person born me. I won't back on us here.
No, I'm be second. I'm be second.
We are talking Hey, you both got
I'm be second as yeah.
Take it to mainstream.
I'm telling him, I'm be saying obo. Sometimes I ask almost similar language.
I need to be proud of our Igbo language. So, my own dialect. So, unique. Asụsụ Igbo dị ajọ unique. Mkpọpụla ọnụ be niile sụma akwala Igbo akpara ụbụrụ. O nwere ga-awacha n'ime ekwube. Eziokwu. Nnamdi na-atọgbuola
You're welcome.
Yeah. Let me just make my contribution. Mazi, recently there was this statement that Nnamdi made as regards to why our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu left Britain and went to Kenya. That MI5 British intelligence that the British government didn't give him space in UK, that they were pestering his life. That the MI5 British intelligence were chasing him all around. So he had to find his way, looking for refuge. And he found a safe haven in Kenya. That was about last week. Now, when the issue of the appeal came into the news, which they have been hiding anyway. And there is another statement that Aloy Ejimako made, that anything death sentence will create diplomatic row
between a man that UK Secret Service made his life uncomfortable.
Why you take?
God bless you.
Why are you taking word?
Hey,
Mazi, why are you taking word off my mouth?
I'm so sorry, sir. But thank you for getting my mind.
Is it?
Thank you for linking up my mind.
Mazi, you know that because you've been able to make connections of Aloy Ejimako.
I just projected that now on the screen.
Yes, you know you've been linking Aloy Ejimako deceit, most including the one he told Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that he's internationally protected person. With all the whole nonsense today now. The same Aloy Ejimako have contradicted himself within 1 week, between last week and
within 4 days now. Within 4 days. Mazi, please repeat that thing. Repeat what you just said. It's important we repeat that.
Okay, if Biafrans can record it, very, very important.
It's very important.
If anybody have their phone, let them record it so that you send it out there. I said that Aloy Ejimako, in a recent broadcast interview or maybe conference call with on a live program, said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu could no longer feel comfortable in the UK or in any Western world, that he has to look for a place where he had to seek refuge because of the MI5 British intelligence pressure. Now, the same Aloy Ejimako still came out now to tell us that if anything gets sentenced on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we create diplomatic row between Nigeria and Britain. Now, the same Britain that is looking for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to hang,
according to our lawyer,
according to our lawyer Ejimako, is now still telling us that the same Britain would have diplomatic row with Nigeria if Nigeria hangs Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So how do we reconcile Aloy Ejimako deceit? I don't know if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself is putting all these connections together. Even you need to disintoxicate yourself of emotions before you start. You know, also you know that at some point, all of me and you were emotional.
Of course, no.
In this struggle, to the point that our sense of reason wasn't functional. Like I said, the moment you become a sycophant, your intellect becomes blood. You will no longer reason because of sycophancy. And when you see many people now running around Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, these are sycophants.
Of course, no.
And when you are a sycophant, you said?
Idiotic sycophants.
I said, when you are a sycophant, it is impossible for you to reason well. When you also look at the organization called APC and their sycophant, can't you see the governor of Edo State, Okwebolo? He said that even if they kidnap all of us, that Tinubu will still be president. This is the words of sycophant. It's not different from somebody who call himself a lawyer in South Africa, who made a post recently that NMK is the founder of IPOB and the Biafra IPOB start with him and end with him. It's not different. That phrase is not different from APC psychopath saying that Tinubu built Lagos, that Lagos started with Tinubu and going to end with Tinubu. These are psychopaths. And at some point I was like that until I disintoxicated myself. And the moment you disintoxicate yourself, you start to face reality. Not necessarily fault line, because if I say fault line, it will sound biased. Mazi, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Exactly.
There is a difference between seeing fault line and facing reality.
Exactly.
I remember when we didn't face, because we didn't face reality is the reason why we were jumping and shouting like a recent video of King Jong-un shaking female footballers. All of them were carried out by emotion. They were even crying, just like when you see Michael Jackson come on stage, people will be falling down, crying, rolling on the ground. Some are even fainting. Emotions. Mazi, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So this is the work of emotion. But if you're able to disintoxicate yourself of emotion, you start reasoning critically. And that is where the major challenge is. All the people shouting today, these are just, they cannot reason critically. Now reconcile Aloy Ejimako statement of Britain looking for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to hang him, and Nigeria finally caught him and want to hang him, and how these two collaborators can have a diplomatic row over the same objective they are pursuing. It goes a long way to tell you that Aloy Ejimako have been playing dirty. I don't know what you want to use, but I will hope that Biafrans will find a way to define who Aloy Ejimako is from the scenario I have painted. Can the other people opportunity to call in? Mazi, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much. We also have to get to Ntiodokwa. There are so many calls in here, but we're doing our best to see what we can do to get everybody along. Okay, saying call failed. I'm trying to see what we can do. So many calls. So many calls, I must tell you. And we will be rounding up shortly. We'll be rounding up. Are you there? We'll be rounding up shortly. Rounding up shortly. Okay. He is not picking. We'll be rounding up shortly so that we can see what we can do.
Hello, Mazi.
Hello. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, Mazi Chika. Are you hearing me?
Live and clear. Good evening. You're highly welcome.
I want to thank you very well.
Sorry,
for your
you called
program.
earlier. I would have picked, but others were on call, so forgive our delay.
No, that's not a problem. I was also listening to Mazi Kim Patrick, and I love his contribution. I just wanted to say something small and add to what you are saying. Okay, I was discussing with someone, I think the day before yesterday, I told him that the restoration of Biafra has started improper because we were living in the illusion of, let me just say, we are tripping in the illusion of what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told us that is the right course to freedom. You understand? So I said this because I wanted to say something about the brand. So there was a community in Discord, I think is a Web3 community, in Discord. So in that community, there were 3 founders in that community, you understand? So that 3 founders founded that community, but they also hired a team of people that will help and, do some activities in the community. So at a time, things started becoming difficult in the space, you understand? So some communities were losing their grip over their influence on things. So that, I think one of the founders now started feeling like I should quit. Then he went underground. Then the small team, they persisted and continued with whatever they are doing to push the community so that in the future, maybe after the hard work, that they will now get up from their feet from where they stopped in the past. So eventually, when they now grow stronger, the founder now saw something and see, hey, this community I left to her, it's like they are trying to get back stronger than they were before he left. So he now came back and dropped a statement. So we all saw the statement. He said that I still have the power to do anything I want to do. I'm still the founder of this company. But he didn't even know that the small team has decentralized the community to the extent that if he tries any of the founders that left, tries anything rubbish, that they will just immediately remove him or her. You understand? So when he made that statement, he thought that he has power because he also has power. If just one button, he can delete that community. But immediately they saw that statement and they took immediate decision immediately. I removed him. Do you understand? So I saw this and I laughed. I said, this is exactly what we are experiencing now with our leader, Mazi Nnamdi. But to his greatest shock, IPOB has seen the light. Because I'm saying it, this is the time we have seen the proper way to restore what we are doing. You know, even though we're having some challenges, but at least we have started in a course of truth. Because in the past, I would just say eventually we are trying to camouflage to make some things not to escalate. But with this truth we have started with, we are going to restore Biafra. That's what I wanted to contribute.
I quite appreciate, especially your classic reference with an event you're really acquainted with. It's really amazing. Life is a symbiotic in nature. Things you see here, you can as well make a comparative relationship with elsewhere. So I quite appreciate. Thanks so much. I have the best of the evening.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that is a very wonderful reference point. Using a company she knows more about to make a colorative comparative analysis. A very short and precise, but full of knowledge. So, indeed, I really appreciate that scholarly contribution. We also have, perhaps this will be the last caller for the day, then we'll come to the end of today. What is most important for us to know is this. We have been mocked as a race on several occasions that our race cannot build up an institution. They will always tell you that what is left in Ohanese is nothing to write home about. But I think people that have been insulted, malign enough, must have evolved. Life is all about evolution. Must have historically evolved to understand where they get it wrong and where they do get it right. What I'm trying to say, IPOB is a global family. It's a very global family that we must understand it is an institution that definitely going to metamorphose into management of state actor when Biafra is restored. And let nobody doubt the possibility of restoring Biafra. IPOB is going to metamorphose into management of state. And what mentality are we going to use? What you're seeing happening in South Africa today was a failure of ANC. Take it or you leave it. Because if ANC was so formidable to bequeath an Afrocentric value and norm system in South Africa to succeeding generation, you wouldn't have what the mess going on in South Africa wouldn't have been there. So, and that is why we are saying it's not just only asking for Biafran restoration. We should also have a mindset of building an incorruptible state manager. And you don't say you will reform or change in Biafra. No. The reform and change starts at the level of pursuing for that freedom. If you want a Biafra that, because somebody is the brother of the prime minister or president, and he start behaving recklessly, being above the law, then you can condone the nonsense going on that the siblings of Onyendu, the charlatans called lawyers, are doing. You can condone that. But if you want a society that even the prime minister, just like in Israel, in Spain, in countries most of you are living, if you want that to be replicated, and if that is the kind of society you want, you should be bold to look into me and say to me, Chika, you got it wrong here. Don't wait in Biafra. You start it. You look at me, you say you got it wrong. Stand tall and say, no, irrespective. Because for me, I want a country that I can, if I'm interviewing the president or the prime minister, I say, Prime Minister, so time your convoy hit someone who was walking on the pedestrian lane. Don't you think you are a ripe candidate of prison? He will not say because of he said that, let somebody wait on the road and assassinate you. And the institution of the state, the police, the judiciary will just look at you that you died because you challenged the president. So that is nonsense. Until we understand the importance of establishing a pure institution, there are so many of our people that this movement cannot be attractive to. Take it or you leave it. There are people who have high resentment to any sense of corruption when they sense it. And as a matter of fact, what the leadership of this movement is doing is to recreate the image of this movement. Because already, the siblings of Onyendu have wrecked it. The ill decision of Onyendu to get to East Africa have wrecked it. The lawyers and their shenanigan acts have wrecked it. It has wrecked confidence in what we are doing. Why you see some of us standing out to tell people? Because we are trying to tell people that this is what you're saying is not what this movement represents. This movement does not represent a lawyer engaging on chat with somebody who is, setting the land on Basset. who is, wrecking down the land. This is not what the movement is. That this movement is not all about, telling somebody I'm with you when he runs into problem. Then you deny you don't know him. Because as a matter of fact, I don't see reputation and integrity that Onyendu will deny Simon Ekpa when there is an obvious statement like this, where Aloy is in active engagement with Simon Ekpa, where he came on national TV endorsing Simon Ekpa. Then when Simon Ekpa ran into problem, you denied him. You tried to distance yourself from him. When everything he did was under your supervision, under your approval, then he ran. In fact, I might not like Simon Ekpa as a matter of fact, but the truth, he was also used and blackmailed by the same people that used him. And that is not reputation. That is not whiter than white. That is not purity. And that is exactly what we are trying to let our people who have started thinking, oh, is it what this thing is all about? We are trying to tell them, look, that is not what the movement is. There are men and women of integrity. I have met people, I've spoken to people. They might not be religious, but they have that self-established reputation and integrity projected lifestyles. Because whether you like it or not, I keep telling our people, our people are very funny. You might not know what Onyendu did in private because you don't have the instruments to know. You might not know who he discussed with. You might not know who the lawyers and the siblings discussed with. But global intelligence services are aware. They know those things. So when you see people struggling to market Onyendu at international level, struggling to get global attention, some of you will be so sentimental and say, the world hates us, the world Okwaranyogo. No, the world Akbohagogo. The world listens to the world deals on secret communication more than open communication. You are the one who is more interested on open communication because you don't have equipment to do what we call eavesdropping or scooping. You don't have that equipment. But the world dwells extensively on that. I made a post recently that the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Chinese, had a microchip placed on the official car, listening to what they are saying. So the world is designed, has developed to a point of knowing what you're talking in private. When you think you are smart, you're doing it alone. No, the world knows it. The world they know. So it is those things they know that we don't know because our source of information is public base. Their own information is private base. It is what they know in private that these guys have done. That when you start shouting, hey, let us, America, support our leader, do this, they look at you and laugh. And nothing makes a man stupid than when somebody who is more informed knows you're stupid because he knows nothing. And that is what the mess they made is what we're trying to. Domestically, the leadership is trying to build back confidence. Internationally, the leadership is trying to build back confidence because nobody will partner with you when you are full of stains. Just like a lawyer. A lawyer, your client is denying he doesn't know this guy. But you engage actively in communication. This is the one you made open. The one he did not make open, the world has it. Some of you run kidnapping network. Kidnap our people, you think you are smart. Collected ransom. Took their vehicles. Then, at the heat of that, the world knows it. Even the local government knows it. I mean, politicians in the land, because the DSS always Have you asked yourself, why is it that Onyenke stay clear his voice? 2 months, 3 months, he run away. Where are those reps, members? Where are those people running here and there for Hindu? The Abia state governor and all this. What is that they were shown that made them to run away? Do you think some of our elites do not want Tony Ndu to be free? Some of them wish that Kaponye Honyendu, let it be part of their history that they tried and rescued him for the masses. But what is that when each time they make noise, that the Nigerian government furnishes them with certain information, most of them will run away. Some of them will run away. Because when we say, let us do everything, just like this one that has a case in Abuja and started calling the magistrate. Now send their account, go send their ego. Let's assume the magistrate did not say it. And the magistrate decided to collect the money. Do you think that magistrate will have respect in what we are doing? What you people will be worse than Nigeria. Let's assume the magistrate that Emmanuel Kanu offered bribe took it. Did you see Emmanuel Kanu criticizing the magistrate? Did he deny what magistrate said? He didn't. Did his lawyer, Nnamdi, deny it? No. Did our lawyer deny it? Did they oppose it? I think they have quietly allowed that to slide. Let's assume the magistrate did not say it. Then tomorrow you're shouting Biafra. You want Sadiq Mohammed to respect what you're fighting, to see what you're fighting as a just cause. It's just a fight of criminals. The only difference is that what they will be saying, the only difference is that these ones are criminals who want to form their own country. There's no two ways about it. So what we are trying to do, what the leadership is trying to do, the mess that these guys have done, let them reclaim it. Let them clean it up. This is a period of sanitation. Let us build back confidence, locally and internationally. It's not an easy process. It's not an easy process. Recently, some countries that we are giving, asylum to some of our people overseas started thinking of reviewing it. Why? Because the Nigerian government have furnished to them that if you see what these guys were doing, this is a chat between the lawyer and the Simon, but the guys kidnapping. Don't mind them telling you that somebody is chasing them. It is their people that are chasing them. And some of these countries started reviewing it. And the leadership is on it now, fighting. Trying to distance away from these guys to make sure, who is anybody in the leadership seeking for asylum? Am I seeking for asylum? But there are people, our people, who are not even IPOB member. For they say that they are Biafrans. At least they need to stay. Why is the leadership doing it? Why what is important to others is to see that the leadership doing this thing is destroyed. Others, what is important is telling us all of us must be going to Sokoto. That when you go to Sokoto and come, probably you have gone to Mecca and come. You are now Alhaji, you are now approved as a real freedom fighter. It's quite unfortunate. But we must continue. I want to say good night and have the best of the day.